Ahead of Game 4, David, here from Edmonton between the Colorado Avalanche and Edmonton Oilers. Our coverage here on the fourth period is brought to you by BitBuy. Go to bitbuy.ca/TFP to receive up to $50 free when you open an account while terms and conditions apply. Very simple, David. We'll start with this. The Edmonton Oilers cannot afford to lose this game tonight.
No, they absolutely can't, Irf. I mean, you go down 3-0 to this group, you got to win 4 straight. That's a huge hill to climb. I just don't see it, quite frankly, based on how they had performed, especially in Game 2. That was just a total meltdown by the Edmonton Oilers from top to bottom, offensively, defensively. The only guy that was playing on his head was Mike Smith, and he let in 4 goals, but not necessarily on him. So everything needs to change for the Edmonton Oilers, and from Colorado's perspective, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's worked for you in the first 2. You totally dominated the pace of play in Game 2, so you keep that going, you build on that momentum, but from Edmonton's standpoint, you have no choice. This is your elimination Game 7 game tonight.
When you look at it from an Edmonton Oilers perspective, I mean, obviously Connor McDavid's been getting his points, but what more do you need to see from basically the world's best hockey player?
We've talked about this off air. We talked about this on NHL Network Radio as well. He needs to play Game 7 against LA.
Yeah.
He's got to be thrown out there for 27, 28 minutes and let him dominate. Now, they shifted things a little bit in the morning skate a little bit earlier. He's going to be playing, at least to start the game, with Evander Kane on the left and Zach Kassian on the right side. Leon Draisaitl will be up the middle with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. So they're shifting things a little bit. We'll see how that develops as the game kind of progresses. But they want to spread things out a little bit. You want to add a little extra toughness to that top line to help Connor out, but at the same time, you want to spread that offense out quite a bit for the Edmonton Oilers. So, look, I get it. I understand what they have to do. They have to change things up, and it will be a little different. They get final change now that they're at home for faceoff, so they can match things up a little bit differently. I think that will go to their advantage. But again, Colorado, so solid, so smooth in the first couple games, especially in Game 2. They replicate that, it's going to be tough for Edmonton to combat it.
Well, that's just the thing. I mean, the Colorado Avalanche have played 2 really, really good hockey games to start this series. So what's your approach if you're the Avalanche? Because you know the crowd's going to be on you early. You know there's going to be cheers. You know the building's going to be electric. So what's your message if you're Jared Bednar?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Keep the tempo going. Keep the pace going. You know you can defend against this team. You know Francouz can do well in net against this team when he's got a full slate ahead of him, a full game. And offensively, you're just as dynamic, if not more, than the Edmonton Oilers as a whole. Last game, the second line really stood out for Colorado. Arturi Lehkonen, Nazem Kadri, and Mikko Rantanen totally performed well for the Avs in that game. They'll try to replicate that tonight, but then you just go to McKinnon's line up top with Landeskog, and all of a sudden, you got more weapons. So from Colorado side of things, you're rolling into this game tonight fully confident that you can take this series in 3 and maybe 4.
David, thank you very much for this. Building should be fun tonight here from Rogers Place. It's Game 3 between the Edmonton Oilers and Colorado Avalanche.